Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Brad and James, the live, fun, interactive conversation about almost anything. Hey, we're super excited to have you guys back with us tonight on Facebook Live. And quick reminder, again, we're going to be doing this every Monday night at 6 p.m. right here on Facebook Live. We're so excited to be doing it, and we're live, so go ahead and interact with everybody on the comments there on Facebook. And so we're ready to get this thing started.
We are ready.
You're clearly ready.
I
mean, I'm not even like a big Cardinals fan, but that looks good.
It looks good. You know it looks good.
It looks good on the screen,
and
too.
look, let me tell you, the shirt Ashley picked for you is hot, too.
Thank you.
Look, she helped you out. She did. It was good. So, yeah, listen. So, we're glad to have everybody tonight. I told you I was going to break out the jersey collection. Yep. Since we started talking stuff, I figured I'd let everybody know. So, right away, it's kind of missing baseball right now. I'm sure my Cardinals would have been in first place right about now.
Of course.
So
I don't see why they wouldn't.
That's which is fine. Hey, that's what we're doing. So we're good. We're good.
Well, I knew you were gonna bust something out.
Okay.
And so that's why I told her, hey, I need to wear something cool. I was just gonna wear a t-shirt.
Yeah. Your t-shirts are cool.
She was like, James always wears something that's nice, and I'm like, yeah, and I think he's gonna bust something out tonight, so I need to be prepared.
Look, the V-necks are nice.
I do like
the V-necks are
V-neck.
hot. So hey, I just said, but I just had to pay homage to greatness. Last week was the Cowboys. This week, St. Louis Cardinals, my hometown where I was born. So, hey, shout out to Wright Castles, everybody out there from St. Louis. You know, y'all can say something.
From the Lou? I mean, not from the Lou. From the, what is it? What was that kid's name that made that album back?
Leave it alone.
Nelly.
Leave it alone. Nelly's from St. Louis. Yeah, yeah.
But you like those?
I didn't really follow Nelly a whole lot.
He was very like pro the area he was from.
No, he definitely did. He loved St. Louis, but no, I just
Are we gonna get any baseball this year?
I hope so, man. I hope so. I mean, Cardinals looking good. Cardinals, St. Louis, people don't know. St. Louis is a baseball city.
Yeah.
I've
never been to St.
until
Louis,
you have gone to a baseball game at Busch Stadium,
right?
So you just have not really
been to a baseball game.
Hey, you have to go. And then when the Cardinals whoop the Cubs, whoo, man, it don't get much better than that. And the Cardinals Cubs rivalry is big. Goodness, I mean, it's just St. Louis is and what they've done down near the stadium and that whole area. St. Louis is killing it. I'm telling you, it is a whole experience. So,
I'd like to visit, like, Hagen, he said he was trying to see more ballparks, and I haven't. I think I've only been to, I guess, only one, but I'll have to put that on the list.
He's been to, what's amazing is he was going to go to some this summer, and St. Louis was not on the list.
And I'm sure you did not get offended by that at all.
Not at all. I'm not easily offended by Hagen's trash. I'm just how it goes. People got bad taste. That's fine. That's what life's about. You still got friends. We still gonna be friends. We're still friends. I don't like him.
Yeah. Well,
friends.
Maybe we'll get some baseball. Maybe we'll get some sports later. I don't know.
The NFL's acting like they act like there is no sort of crowd. They're like, we gonna win. They're
really?
going. Yeah.
I have not seen that, but I was thinking about earlier today some sports that really could play on. I know a couple that I thought of, just the athletes in general might be kind of excited that fans, or a lot of fans, weren't there.
Okay.
Golf and tennis. And the only reason I say, I mean, there is that excitement level with them being there, but a lot of times, like in golf, if someone, says something, or God forbid, like snaps a phone pic or something, I mean, Tiger's going to come, like, that is not going to set well.
I'm sure it irritates him for sure, but Tiger's so great. He just going to play well anyhow.
We're hoping.
Yeah. He did just win he won the Masters, didn't he?
He did. He did.
I was just checking.
He did. I mean, he's my man. Don't get me wrong. I want him to win everything.
I'm just saying.
All the time. Absolutely. But
boy, bad.
If you didn't have
everyone was like, he's never gonna win another champion. And
when he did, I wanted to say
the Masters.
Some things.
Tiger.
But,
I know. We all want to say some things.
But if there weren't like those people, it's only like two guys. Like you got the golfer and his caddy.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can pretty much socially distance yourself from the other guys you're playing with on the fairways.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I know they were mentioning they may start back after the Memorial or 1st of June.
I think they actually have a date,
got a schedule,
June, July or something, and then you said tennis, which I think is, definitely probably could be played without fans, but man, you just I'd hate to see it. But I think people want sports back so well. The NFL. So let's like if we're talking about that for sports.
Okay.
Like here's the thing. I don't know. Like if I had an opportunity to go to an actual NFL game or watch it at my house, I think I'm choosing my house.
I mean,
it's so good on television. You don't miss anything. The food is good at home.
Bathrooms
are clean.
Plus,
I got to worry about
no wait.
I got to get there and go and like pee next to no trough next to somebody. You go to stadiums and it's just man trough.
I remember it.
All you do is you just look forward. You look forward like this, and you just think like. You just look forward, like, hurry up and get done.
Hurry up. And of course, there ain't no hurry up.
No. And then, of course, it seems like I always get next to the person that wants to have a conversation. Like,
no. It's not necessary.
They're playing well, aren't they? They're doing good, huh? I'm like, I want to talk to you as I'm sitting here using the bathroom.
Now's not the time,
Am I the only people that run into those people?
No, I mean, it happens. And you're right. It's just like,
I won't talk to them.
Moving right along. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
So anyway, I think the game. I think the game is so good on television. I don't know. Maybe they do a virtual crowd or something that kind of.
They probably could.
I think like a green.
They could
I think they could probably do a green screen around like you know how they cover the seats with material like in parks where they can't get everybody, like the San Diego Chargers when they played last year and they couldn't get fans to come, and they covered all them seats with all that material to make it like look like it was decor. Okay. You could do that in green screen and put in a crowd and get the noise. I mean, television, really old school television, they had laugh machines, like the old school like sitcoms.
Yeah. You
could have crowd noise in there.
I mean, they already kind of do that. I know in baseball a couple of times they'll green screen in advertisements, like behind home plate.
Is that green screen? I thought that was actually on the screen.
Well, if it is, I mean, I've seen it to where, like on replays and stuff, or like clips or something, they can just overlay a different graphic if they wanted to.
Yep.
I'm just saying they have that option. I mean, there's tons of ways that they could, still do things, and maybe they will. I don't know.
I'm thinking it's anyway. I'm thinking there's a way. I think if they could, if they had a CG like crowd and they had crowd noises, I think the home experience, I'm not sure we would really notice. You
wouldn't miss it, or you wouldn't really care.
And it may help some teams out that don't get fans anyway.
That's what I was about to say.
The issue's money, and they can't make money if fans aren't there. So I know they're thinking about that. So I think that's a big thing. So
yeah, absolutely.
Well, look, tonight, we were talking about kind of what we were talking about tonight. Tonight, I wanted to talk about, as we kind of move forward, as more and more cities are reopening, more and more states are reopening.
Yeah.
Things are here. Restaurants reopen, and then today, in Mississippi, you'll see barbershops,
salons,
beauty salons, and gyms. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful for all of that. So because I'm telling you, I had to have my hair cut. So I appreciate having that. And
I might need a trim.
Hey, listen, I needed it. So I'm grateful for that. But when you go and you have, when you go and have those things opening up, what I wanted to just kind of ask people about, like, how do you feel now about, so Hattiesburg, which is, for those who don't know, is about 30 minutes south of us.
Right.
Their mayor made it mandatory to wear masks in stores. Is that right?
Yeah.
Or when you go into restaurants or whatever, you have to wear a mask, or?
I think once you enter the premise of just about any establishment, stores,
you got to wear a mask.
I haven't even really, I don't know how restaurants, I haven't heard yet about, are they opening?
It's hard to eat through a mask, so you got to do something.
Right. I saw on somebody where they had like cut a little slit in there, and they opened their mouth somehow or another. The whole mask opened. This was like a Pac-Man thing or something, but I don't know about the restaurants, but I do know for stores for sure, because you know, we've been down there and it's like every store has a sign or something, or even security there at the front that's like, hey, you don't have a mask, come back when you do.
So I guess I'm wondering how people are feeling about that, because here's what I'm hearing is the two arguments, you know, especially here in the free state of Jones, as we call it. People like, you ain't gonna tell me what to do. I don't want to wear a mask. You know, like this is silly. Yeah. I'm hearing terms like herd immunity, which Dr. Dobbs, our state medical officer, has said that does not exist with this disease. Like, you know, do you know what herd immunity is? Like basically, so everybody heard them get it,
right?
And then
we'll just kind of be done.
You're kind of be done.
Everybody gets it. It's over.
Yeah. Off. Or it's not a real thing. So yeah, you know, it's crazy. Is that my cousin Amy? Look at that. Hey, that's my cousin Amy out there from St. Louis. There we go. Yeah. So I'm just like, but how are people feeling about? So how do you feel being told? Because here's, I guess the real argument is like, do people feel like, not feel like, how are you feeling? There seems to be two ends. People that are like, hey, I'm erring on the side of safety, or there's people that feel like their personal rights are being infringed on, being pulled from them. Like, where are people at on that?
I mean, I kind of see both sides of the spectrum. I'm definitely not saying people who feel one way are right over the people who feel the other way. And it is kind of a unique experience to be, you know, living in this particular time where we have to deal with things such as going to a store to either wait to go in. Yeah. And while you're waiting outside, you're waiting 6 feet apart from the nearest person to you. And even at that, you're waiting outside, you're wearing a mask, you're keeping a minimum of 6 foot distance between you and the next person. So all these things are so different and unique. And I could see, like you said, here in this area that we live, where people find that they shouldn't be being told how to go about socially living their lives just to go to a store or something.
Right.
But on the other side, I feel like, man, what's wrong with erring on the side of caution when we've been dealing with something that's absolutely 100% real?
Yeah, killing people.
Yeah. I mean, they're not hauling bodies off, you know, just because they want to. It's real. And don't get me wrong, I do believe that there are a lot of agendas and things of sorts that may not be completely accurate, but we've been dealing with that since day one.
Yeah,
because we haven't really known, you know, no one's been, you know, able to just be like, this is the facts. Or, you know, it's been a very trying time to figure this all out.
Right.
So, I mean, I understand that a lot of people I think a lot of people don't like it.
Yeah.
Like we talked about last week, they don't like change because it's out of their control.
Yeah.
If it was up to them and they were making the decisions, they'd be all for it.
Yeah.
But when it's kind of out of their hands, so to speak, they don't like being told what to do just because of that mindset.
I think you hit it right there. People don't like being told what to do.
No.
Like that, and I think and I'm not sure. I'm not going to exclude myself from that conversation. I don't necessarily like being told what to do, especially when you're kind of like, I'm grown, you know.
Yeah.
You know, this is something where they're telling you something that's going to potentially save your life. I think. So here's the other part of that. You know, if I'm just going to like jump on just for a little bit, how come? Like this thing starts coming out now 8 weeks ago, 9 weeks ago, we hear about the forecast of how millions could literally die. Mm-hmm. We start praying, and now that like millions have not died and the projections are not where they are, instead of it being like, hey, God intervened because the church prayed in the most united way the church has ever been in years.
Very much
Instead, everybody's like, it's a hoax. I mean, Christians, I'm like, wait a minute, God intervened. Thank God for it. Thank God it's not me. But no one's like just going, Lord, thank you for intervening. Everybody's like, it's a fake. See, this where I'm stunned. It's like,
Yeah, I think that is a little bit more on the ignorant side. Not saying that you can't have opinions about it.
Right.
But
yeah.
at the same time, well, first of all, thank God for healing power.
Thank God for healing. He's still in the healing business.
Let's not forget, there's people, I was telling somebody the other day, man, I saw just a unfortunate situation of a person who's dealing with an illness, and it wasn't even coronavirus. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't have problems.
Right.
There
exactly.
are people who not only are dealing with the coronavirus, but there's still people dealing with the flu. There's still people dealing with cancer. There's still all this stuff is real.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
And, and people die from those things as well.
Yeah.
And we always pray and we ask for God's healing power on that. And we never just throw our hands up and be like, you know what, cancer ain't real.
No, yeah, we don't. Right. Exactly.
Because the newsflash, I kind of feeling like, COVID-19, coronavirus, call it what you want. It's gonna be a real thing for ever. I can,
I'm
maybe.
You,
but
for definitely, I think we're looking at 18 to 24 months that we're gonna have to figure out the level of risk that we want to take.
Yeah.
But I think too, I don't think you got to reinvent the wheel. I think you look at other countries that, I think some of the problem is we have a superiority thing about. I don't listen. We want to be proud of our country. God has blessed us with a great nation.
Absolutely.
I'm grateful for people like my dad who have made the sacrifice for our freedom. I'm grateful for my mom and my dad, both are veterans. Grateful for their sacrifice. Grateful for what they've given. In the same sense, though, we have to be really careful that God stays our God, and that we don't make our nation a God, and also just being careful that we can learn. I think we're lifetime students. You learn from anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't mind looking at another country. Maybe they're not as wealthy as our country, but that doesn't mean they're not as knowledgeable.
Right.
And so we're looking at other nations that have walked through this, that wearing masks have just become part. It's just part of the culture.
Yeah.
And
not even just through this pandemic or virus. Like, they've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
And there's a reason. There's a valid reason why you go to, or you see. I mean, not me. I haven't been to.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
We're working on that.
But you see, it's like you kind of think, you're like, man, the people wearing masks in the subway.
Yeah.
Or they wearing masks walking down the street. Why are they doing that?
Yeah. Well, hey,
we're learning real quick.
High density areas, the chance for infection is very real. And we still have that even in some areas that are rural that have high density housing
population.
Pockets.
Yeah.
So real stuff.
In regards to the question, though, I can't say that I just love wearing a mask.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think, especially if I am out, and as you say, things are opening up more and more.
Yeah.
I think it's just wise that you practice some safe behavior.
For sure. Yeah, I think too. I agree.
Because we talked about, I guess last week when we were talking about back in the day when people were smoking on airplanes.
Yeah. Right.
Or how about when seatbelts were like, what's a seatbelt? I'm
sitting here now and looking at, for real, now that's one. I remember as a kid, we would travel from St. Louis to drive down here to Mississippi with my grandmother. And I remember I'd be in the back seat. I cannot remember as a kid wearing a seatbelt.
No.
We were flying down, 55.
The protection was the kid sitting next to you. You're just hoping that he would take the blunt.
Seatbelts. I remember changing seats in the car while we were driving, or
crawling up to the front and crawling in the back.
So it was crazy. So so definitely there's a new, things change, things evolve.
I was about to say those exact words. We talked about this even with church, how times evolve, and evolution is not always going to be associated with a negative thing.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Life today as we know it's not how it was in 1930 or 1950 or 1800. It's just not.
Right.
So I think people should.
Some of us more grateful for that than others.
I'm grateful. Hallelujah. So
real grateful.
I think you have to be wise.
Yeah.
God also gave us wisdom, some more than others.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so I think it's just good practice.
Yeah.
I don't want to wear a mask, but am I going to for the safety of myself, my wife, and others? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm doing the same thing. And I think, I guess the hard part is two parts. So there's when you're wearing a mask, like you're wearing it, and then there's a part of you that feels like there's some people that look at you kind of like almost like you sold out, like
bless his heart.
Like, oh, he believes that. Oh,
yeah.
He bought
Exactly.
into that.
Oh.
You know.
Right.
And so I saw something. I'm trying to think. Let me see if I think I saved it on my phone. I'm trying to see where I thought it was so well put.
I did
when it
kind
was,
of feel that way initially, weeks ago or a month or two ago when it was all first starting and you go buy groceries for the first time,
Right,
and you're like,
right.
well, I'm gonna wear a mask because hey, I'm telling my dad to wear a mask, and that's another thing. Like, why are we gonna tell somebody else to do it, and if we're not gonna do
if
it?
you're not gonna do it, right? No.
So
right.
I go in there and and I'm kind of like one of the few that have it on, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I really want to wear this. But I will say it's picked up a lot, so I'm glad. You know what's funny though is that sometimes I forget that I have a mask on. And
Yeah.
I'll actually try to be like, I'll smile at somebody, and then I'm like, they can't even see what I'm
see
doing.
you smile. They can't even see you smile. I think Hagen sent me a little cartoon the other day, and it had somebody with a mask on, and then like it took it off, and they had a whole different lower face that wasn't that attractive. He's
Right.
and
I've
it
seen
said
that.
this is not like the right time to fall in love, and so Hagen sends me stuff like that. I
Does he?
gotta buffer it.
I got you.
But yeah,
But you
it
gotta
was-
be cautious with that.
You do.
You'd be swiping the wrong direction if you're not careful. And you can't trust those masks,
I hope
man.
he's not swiping at all.
Yeah,
Is
no,
my
I'm-
hope right
I'm
now.
kidding, I'm
That he.
That's for anybody else out
Oh
there.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Watch where you swipe it.
That's right. Be careful, be cautious which
And
direction.
There was a show with my kid. Swiper, no swiping. Don't be.
Yeah.
You
But it's kind of funny though. Also, in this part of the world,
Yeah.
in the South, we try to be very hospitable and kind, and we kind of have some other reputations that are a lot nicer for us. But I try to. I find myself. I'll just kind of like see somebody, and I'll. If I weren't wearing a mask, I would smile and say hey or just hi or something like that. And now I have this mask on and I'm smiling, and they're probably looking at me like, what's this long-haired dude looking at me like this for? So, man, you need to get on out of here or something.
Especially you wearing that black shirt because you got a little bit of outlaw feel going right now. Ashley set you up, so
Yep.
she
looks good.
I do. I think it's so weird though when you can't, because I do. I'm a smiler. Like when I see people, I'm always smiling. And so it is a little bit, that part is even a little bit strange as well. Kind of as you're looking at that. But so like when does it, even if you don't want to, I guess the question is like, so even if you don't want to wear a mask, when, and if we're talking from our perspective, from a Christian perspective, like when is it that you do things for the greater good? Like two scriptures come to mind without like preaching it, but like two things. So it says, one says, as much as it depends upon you, live at peace with all people. The second one says that everything that's lawful is not profitable. So it means like everything that I'm allowed to do is not necessarily for my benefit.
Absolutely.
So like, how do you reconcile those two with like my personal freedom?
Yeah, I don't know. And that goes back to the fact of a lot of people feeling like something's being stripped of them.
Right. Yeah.
But
for sure.
Right off the bat, though, I don't think anybody would be, asking the public to practice these things if it were not for their well-being.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't understand how somebody can just, even if you think this is garbage, or this is totally false, which a lot of people do, and that's fine. But wouldn't it be smart? Like you'd rather be, practice good, behaviors and doing everything and be like, well, I'm doing the right thing, and then find out that it is true.
Yeah.
Then not, like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Listen, I think if we're talking straight, look, it's an honest, like even with the recently, even with AIDS, like that was seen as a disease and only affected a certain population of people.
Very little knowledge and understanding.
Very little knowledge and
about that,
understanding.
too.
But then we started understanding that no, this is an everybody thing because everybody getting busy. Everybody. And so you have to use precaution. Well, how come we were okay we're now, we're educating, we're having to educate about the use of contraceptives. We're talking about those things. We're understanding that that's going to become used to be kind of taboo to even mention it. Now it's like, there are married couples that go in with a certain, they're making choices about their marriage, about, hey, what contraception they want to use. Some of them are deciding because they don't like the idea of hormones and birth control pills, those kinds.
That's real.
So you got those, but we've accepted that. Well, now, okay, here's our next.
I think that's kind of like there's like a period of time. I don't know how long.
Yeah.
But and it is, even for me right now, it's like I don't want to accept the fact that, like we talked about last week, this is kind of the new normal, or hey, it's not necessarily that I'm trying to do me, but I'm trying to benefit or help everybody else as well, like the common good, like you said. But I think we're just hard-headed, honestly. I mean, a lot of people are. They don't. I mean, I have to get on to, I've said it once already, but like my dad, he's 72 and he's probably a high risk candidate for this virus. And it's just like, I understand.
My dad's that same age, and my dad has dropped off fruit and food at our house every single week since the shutdown. Like, he will just show up, which I love him. He'll just show up and he knows the youngest grandson of his, Gabriel. He knows, like, he wants my dad will bring plums. He'll bring bananas. He brings a big old tray of chips. Yeah, and he and brings cheese, and then he has chicken, so he brings us eggs.
Delivery service.
Listen, I love my dad. We got he brings eggs, fresh eggs, and so. Yeah. But he is in, and I'm like, Dad, we'll go to the store for you. And 1 week he called us. 1 week he called us to drive him, and but other than that, he's usually gone himself. And I think some part that's that generation.
I agree, and I think it's tough for some people to accept the fact that they're being told, or not necessarily being told you have to do this, but they don't even like the fact of just an idea, or just a request, or I'm just going to do what I want to do. But why not? Yeah. Why not do it for everybody? Like, are we being selfish?
Yeah, you have to think about is it part that we're not thinking about, as we represent like the greater good of everyone. So, but listen, just want to ask, Brad, I've been talking about that. Those of you got some feelings out there, we'd love to see you share them through your comments. I'm starting to read some. Shirley Kimberly, most men are hard-headed. Oh, I'm gonna have to call PJ about that one too. And thank you for Frankie for the shirt as well. Thank you. I appreciate it. I love the shirt too. I appreciate it. Thank you, Shirley. And Shirley Kimberly is also just one of those that's in the medical profession, that's on the front line fighting this. And so
thank you.
We appreciate you so much. Absolutely. And you looked good in that recent. I saw you in the recent South Central commercials. You was looking good there with about the mask being made. So it was really cool seeing you in there. So we appreciate you, Shirley. Love you, and appreciate that as well. So yeah, we got several things that are but if share what do you think? I mean, we're asking you what are your thoughts regarding is it, do you feel like your rights are being violated? Are you going to wear a mask? If so, why or why not? Just asking that whole thing. Linda Rao, let's see. Glad I don't work at the bank. All these masks.
Okay, that's a good point.
That is a good point.
That is a very good point.
That's a great point.
Now, I'm not going to... Someone said to me, and speaking of that right there, they were like, oh, so, everybody just wears a mask now and can go around and just, rob and steal and right there on the scene, like everybody's got a mask and it's just going to be... And I'm like, well, I mean, I don't think it's gonna be like that, and I don't know. But people do think that way.
A couple things. Let's start. Real good. I think it's a couple things. One, the banks right now, they're just going through, like right now, the whole drive-through. I don't think you can go in the bank unless you make an appointment or something. So right now, especially, we bank at Regions. Yeah. And Lord have mercy, I think the whole city banks there because it's like
they're backed
so
up for
yeah.
miles.
But right now they're pretty safe because they're behind there and you're
No
outside,
entry.
doing that. But I will say this, like there's a just looking, but I'm just like some people. So, my undergrad's in psych. One of the things they used to do, you ever wonder, like when they're at a concert, you ever seen where they kind of flash the lights like out to the crowd? Like there's a lights that are for the stage, but then there's lights that just kind of wash the crowd the whole time. So years ago that started because people went, because they used to like only have it like where the stage was lit up and like the crowd was dark and people did things in the dark, and people
people do
and people
in the dark.
They lit up things in the dark and they inhaled things during the dark. In some states where now it's legal to inhale something, but anyway, so they started psychologically, like one of the studies, like they started like kind of flashing light, and it just kind of like put a spotlight on people for enough time that kind of like kept behavior and stopped some
like
of the
reset.
non-desirable behaviors from happening. If you kind of felt like you kind of be out of, like when that light kind of shines on you, there's some part that kind of like alerts you a little bit.
It's kind of like that story in well, it's not at all like the story in Genesis, so never mind. I was going to just say that Adam and Eve, they had the light and then the light went out. But anyways, it was kind of a reversal of that, but it's moving right along. People out there gonna be thinking I've done lit something.
So, but I think that's part of it. I'm trying to see some comments. Okay, I got Jeff Gwinnett said, "I'm not wearing a mask. Sorry, not sure if that's right. It's just me." And some people just
you are
aren't.
not alone.
Yeah, there's a ton. There's people around here that don't wear masks. They just don't.
I mean, they're uncomfortable. They get hot. They fog up your glasses.
So what about when you're in? They do. What about what about if you have an employer that makes it mandatory for you to wear a mask?
That's going to be a check right there.
There's things that we got to look at. There's things we're looking at even as the church.
Right.
Like, hey, our volunteers, hey, we're going to have to make a recommendation. Like, we because we're dealing, because the church because a church building, I mean, you think about like the community coming together, an infection that could happen there could radiate, throughout the community really quickly.
Right. You'd be hotspot real quick.
Yeah.
And what's really funny though is speaking in regards to the church or maybe other places, whether it be restaurants, businesses.
Yeah.
You have them people that they see someone who works there, volunteers there, spends times there, and if they don't have a mask on, you can believe somebody's getting an anonymous letter.
It's true.
And they're going to say, they weren't wearing a mask. And they probably one of the people that don't wear one and don't care.
Yeah.
But they like writing letters.
No, they do. Seriously. When we're thinking about that, let's see.
You have to do the right thing regardless.
Let me ask, let me see. Linda Rao, let me read hers. Me and Kendall were asked to leave a store in Laurel because we didn't have a mask on. I don't have an issue for my protection of others, but you probably won't see me with one unless it's a requirement from the store. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And no, I see that. I mean, I think that's where people are.
I lean that way myself.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's like, sir, you can't enter the store or whatever without one, then I'm going to comply and be like, I understand. Yeah. But honestly speaking, am I just going to wear one all the time, just because? Probably not.
Yeah.
But if I know, I guess there's other different situations, like if there's a lot of people. Yeah. And I understand that that's kind of what the whole regulating population in stores is kind of trying to help with too. But I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's tough. It really is a tough decision.
It's a hard deal, and I guess the whole thing is really kind of getting to about understanding about both positions. Like, that. And you can almost catch yourself like, if I'm wearing a mask, like I know I'm a little heightened, when people that aren't, so like if somebody came and weren't wearing a mask and they cough near me or sneeze. I mean, I'm on Zoom calls, people sneeze and I'm spraying the screen.
Like, let me just get this screen.
They coughing on Zoom and you're like,
can't have that.
Get
that out of here.
But I think too, and then relationships complement it, like I'm part of Fellowship of the Ring.
Yep.
And
One
so
ring.
hey, the wife, if they, because
It's not
it could
just
affect
you.
things.
Yeah.
You know, and
Absolutely.
so you're trying to bring things. You got to bringing things home.
Yep.
You know, I got a son that is we're standing and believing for healing for him from asthma. Right now, we're still dealing with the symptoms of that, and so potentially it could be devastating if I brought something home, especially for him. So
I think in regards to like that comment, because I know people are using good judgment.
Yeah.
And I think that's very key. I think if you do use good judgment and you're wise upon the decisions you make, it's because let's be honest, there's some people who from day one, ain't nothing changed.
Yeah, right.
I mean, nothing.
Nothing.
So there's those folks too.
There's some even churches that still held services, even through this. And so.
And I think it goes back to the whole, that's my rights. They're not going to, and I know the governor said, I didn't shut you down. I can't tell you when to reopen kind of deal, but err on the side of caution. Got to use good judgment.
You would think that, it is, the governor will go out of his way to say, this is real. This is not over. This is, this is very real. And yet in the same sense, I wouldn't want his job for $1 million right now, because we understand something. And I think we all gotta be real. If Mississippi had shut down the same way that some other states did, it would take our state probably decades to recover economically, where, there are probably businesses waiting to go right back into Los Angeles, right back into San Francisco, right back into New Orleans, right back into Chicago, those areas where, man, the oil industry here has been devastated. Mississippi's going under a full-on shutdown, and it just could be devastating for our folks. And so I know he's walking that very delicate line. Our numbers are not where they were projected, and we're thanking God for that. I give him all the credit for that.
Yeah.
In the same sense, I know it's a line. Like, it's really that. So trying to look at Shirley Kimberlin. She, let me see. She said, my cousin, who was a nurse, passed away from COVID-19. Goodness, sorry about that she caught from a patient. Wow. At that time, she was not wearing a mask. Would it have made a difference? Who knows? So with that being said, she goes, I think that masks are very important for everyone. Shirley's in the medical profession. There you go. I mean, that's kind of, and I'm partial to nurses because my mom was none, and we got 4 doctors in our church that are friends, and so for sure, you're kind of
and I know we're kind of keying in on mask here, and I guess that's okay, but I mean, the fact of the matter is, a mask, if you have a mask on and someone else has a mask on, there's undeniable proof that it helps.
It helps. It's true.
Right?
That's right. That's right.
So
You're right on it.
I
You're
think
right
that's
on it.
one of those things where I may not want to do it.
I know. It's just, I like living. But I don't know. I'm allergic. Now I have a serious allergy to dying, and I know Scripture talks about to be absent in the body, to be present with the Lord, and we all are there. But it's that journey that's got us all kind of tripped up a little bit, and so. But also, I need this body to live and function on this earth, and so I'm still standing on the promises of the word. I'm still standing on the promises of God, but also I know in using wisdom with that, even before any of this, I'm standing on God's plan that with long life, he would satisfy me. But I went every 6 months and got my blood work and checkup with my physician. I mean, that's just part of, I want to make sure that I'm exercising and keeping blood pressure down. I know genetically predisposed to that as an African-American man. So those are things that I'm not taking on, but I'm also knowing, hey, I'm operating in what I know the real enemy tries to come at me with. Yeah. So just trying to be wise there. Let's see. I got niece. Let's see, niece on there. Okay, if we haven't been sheltering in place together, I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to straight arm you. I see about wearing a mask, because look, some people they're not gonna play. They're gonna be like, do not touch me.
My aunt's that way. I think she's like, she has a little sticker that says, I practice safe social distancing, and so
Ashley has a sticker.
No, this is my aunt over in Georgia, but she's older, and she would be a kind of a higher risk candidate.
Yeah.
So like if she were to go out or someone has to come repair something, or she always wears her sticker that says I practice safe social distance, and just kind of letting them know I'm not being rude.
Yeah. Do not touch me.
Don't do that. And if I back away, I'm just trying to keep that healthy distance. And
well, I know our missionaries that were in that are in Italy, Chad and Cameron, good friends of mine, and we started talking with them, and as Italy was kind of having the enormous death rates that they had, especially among older people, their culture was a little different, that the older relatives lived in the houses, or the families live with the older relatives. So young people are, in Europe, those of you that have not gone, Europe is pretty open. So you can travel in between countries pretty easy. Like we travel between states. It's just,
that way
it's
with countries.
They have an agreement. So they have free travel. So young people, it's not unusual for someone 16 to go and visit their friends, maybe in Spain, and come back. And so if they've been exposed, they came back, and now these older people are in the house with these younger people.
Yeah.
And they've infected them, which is and they were losing them, of course, at a huge rate. So even though they're sheltering in place, like you're still having where they were even exposed or maybe asymptomatic, but they infected someone that was older, and it's been tragic, man. It's tragic. These nursing homes, you think these are people that cannot get out. How in the world are they getting infected and dying? It's staffing. That's
right. Just this past week, personally, we have a dear friend of ours who tested positive, and he was in a retirement home due to some health issues with Parkinson's.
Yeah.
And just this past week, he tested positive. So, and it's not like he was going out, like you said.
Right.
And they couldn't
run them streets.
Right.
Yeah.
He wasn't keeping the streets hot. But I mean, I want people to know that I think, and that's the good thing about living here, is that we make our decisions. Yeah. And I'm thankful for that. And I would never want to come across as like, oh, you're doing it wrong type deal. And it's not that. We just thought it'd be interesting to kind of see what you guys thought about this whole dynamic with how life is right now.
I think it's important to talk about it too, because on both sides, if you're a firm believer in wearing a mask, you really don't see it as a way of impeding on your personal rights. You really see it as a health issue. You can have kind of an attitude towards people that don't, and kind of like, almost like you go out in public and you're just heightened. Like I do realize, like when I go out, I'm heightened.
Right.
My sensibility is heightened. My sense of personal space is heightened. Sure. And probably your grace level threshold is a lot lower just because of that. For people that aren't wearing masks, that kind of look at, this as being silly. On both ends, I think we got to follow where Scripture says, in all you're getting, get understanding. Yeah. I think we have to now understand that we're going to live in a society really where we got to understand that if that's where someone does that, they didn't sell out because they're wearing a mask, and another person is not evil, and because they chose to, not to. Yeah. We have got to get past that so that we can live together, because we're going to have to coexist.
I was about to say, because newsflash, we're going to have to live together.
Yeah, we're going to have to live, and there's a level of risk that we're going to all have to begin to live with until there is a vaccine. Which, I'm just being honest, I'm not signing up to be on the trial run of anybody's first run at a vaccine. I'm sorry, that's just not me. I trust, but I'm like.
And I think with today's day and age, with technology, with social media, with real news and fake news, I think that because this is so has been so in our face at every single platform, in our hand, on the TV, on the tablet, on the computer, we've been through things before that may not have been as publicized or as, but I think during those types of plagues and viruses and whatnot, they were real.
Yeah, real. That's right.
And so, again, I think you have to take what's being said by various platforms and people and whatnot, and and take that for what it's worth, but still use your best judgment for you and you know, your family or whatever, because we all want to get through this.
That's right.
And
alive
and quicker rather than later. But
well, look, we are getting to our time.
Are we?
Yeah, man, it went fast tonight. Thank you for a great conversation. Want to say hello to Zachary Evans out there. Thank you, man, for watching, and appreciate that as well. Thank you for everybody. I had several of my relatives, cousins, some of some of the guys from Daniel Murphy, my high school, my heart, they're out there.
Look at that.
Saw
That's
several
awesome,
of them, and man, so good to just connect. And so again, thank you all for your comments. Thank you all for participating. Again, the whole point of this was to be live, fun, interactive conversation about
almost anything.
That's and just another way for us to connect, even past this pandemic. Really, just another way for us to really just talk about things that you're talking about already.
People are talking about it, and we think it's important to have that conversation as well. Quick note, guys, I want to remind you all that our podcasts are available to download on Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and they're now also available on Apple iTunes. So you can go there and subscribe. That would be great for us, and go ahead and subscribe to our podcast. And also, we have them available on our YouTube channel, The Brad and James Podcast. Head on over to YouTube and check that out. And we're doing a re-air. Are we going to do that every week?
Sometime this week. Yeah, I'm gonna do a re-air this. We'll do one this week. We'll figure out the date, but we'll let you know. Yeah.
So we have lots of different ways for you guys to catch up with us and check out the show, and we hope you do that. It's been awesome.
It's been good. Shout out to Hagen Harrison again, our silent partner that's been manning things up on the tech end.
Appreciate it, Hagen. Yeah. Give him the love.
And remember, now he's still available, so put them applications in. Resumes.
He's saying, bring it on.
Dark haired, you love Jesus in the 25 to 48 range. He's open. So we just want to a little shout out for that.
Awesome, man.
Send your applications to admin@theagape.church, though, because we got a screen. You got to make sure you love Jesus.
Amen. Real deal. Hey, we appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see you guys
next week.
All right. See you guys later.